Hello, how are you? I am back again and today I'm going to talk about the other new Jo Malone perfume. So the other day I talked about the new Jo Malone cologne, which is Fig and Lotus Flower, but there's two new releases at the moment and this is the other one. It is called Cypress and Grapevine and it is from the Cologne Intense collection. So I love Fig and Lotus Flower. It's beautiful, it's very fresh and green and milky and figgy and very aquatic. It's just really pretty, really wearable, very unisex, but just a lovely aquatic green fragrance. It's really pretty. It's just easy and it's fun and it's elegant and it's unusual and it's very fresh and watery, but also very figgy, and it's really lovely. And it's really lovely to have a new fig-based fragrance in the Jo Malone collection. However, this one is of course a little bit darker, a little bit more exotic, a little bit more aromatic and complex, and maybe even a little bit more challenging too. It is Cypress and Grapevine and it's from the Cologne Intense collection, which means it's a little bit heavier, a little bit richer, and a little bit more like rare and aromatic and complex, and maybe a little bit darker as well. So this one I'm already wearing and it's really pretty. I actually really like it. It's just like it's the same inspiration, but like this is kind of like the daytime watery fresh version, and this is like the nighttime wintry moody darker side. Like this is kind of like an after dark type perfume. I would also say it's a little bit more masculine. They're both unisex, especially like this one is very unisex and this one is very unisex too, but I would say this is more on the men's side than the women's side. That being said, I am wearing it and I do really like it. So this one contains notes of lavender, grapevine, fern, vetiver. It's also got moss, patchouli and geranium. So it is a little bit more complex. So it's very woodsy, it's very green, it's very aromatic. It's quite dark and heady and quite complex, and it's kind of got more, it's got more kind of oody vibes. I'm gonna spray a little bit more. Ooh, and there's almost like a freshness in there which is almost quite grapefruity. Oh, I really like it. It's dark, it's smoky, it's aromatic, it's very woodsy, it's almost a little oody. It's just quite rich and intense and lovely. It's hard to know if it's almost quite dry in places, but then it's almost quite watery in places. It's almost quite fresh, but then it's also quite like dry and smoky. It's kind of quite a contradiction, I think, because there's so much going on. It's just a little bit more complex than other Jo Malone perfumes. If you are into Cologne Intense collection fragrances, like things like the Dark Amber and Ginger Lily or the Myrrh and Tonka or the Incense and Cedra, then I think you might really like this one because it is that kind of quite dark smoky kind of vibe. If you like brands like Amor Oud or Tom Ford's Private Collection, again, this might be right up your street because it does have that kind of richness and intensity and darkness that you don't normally get from a Jo Malone perfume. But I really like it. I think it's quite masculine and I think it's quite, it's not for the faint-hearted, which I'm really into because I like quite masculine fragrances. I like quite rich and intense fragrances. It is much more of a winter fragrance than a summer fragrance, so I think I'm going to enjoy it a little bit more when we get into the darker months, but right now it is still really beautiful and I'm really enjoying kind of trying it out. And yeah, it's just quite special and interesting and not very Jo Malone-y, but in like a quite exciting way. Like it's still very beautiful, but it's just a little bit richer and darker than they normally go. Now, let's talk about fragrance combining, because this is where the fragrance really takes on its own kind of magic. So you can fragrance combine Cypress and Grapevine. I still haven't learned the name, which is crazy, but you can fragrance combine it with something like woodsy and seasalt, which kind of makes it a little bit warm and fresher and more kind of coastally, or you can combine it with Fig and Lotus Flower, which is where the magic happens for me. So I'm going to spritz some on. Also, when you are fragrance combining, it's a good idea to layer the darker, heavier fragrance on before the lighter, fresher fragrance, so you kind of work down, if that makes sense. Oh, this is where it gets really good because you get that kind of real freshness of the milky fig and the aquaticness and a hint of like lemon or grapefruit, and it's just really fresh and green, but then you've also got this kind of darkness, which is really exciting and really mysterious, and it just kind of adds to the complexity, adds to the magic, and kind of like makes it this really intense, unusual fragrance that you don't normally get. A very woodsy, intense fig-based fragrance, but you also kind of don't, I don't know, you just don't normally get these kind of fragrance notes together. And it just kind of does all the things. Like, it's so bright and fresh and green and aquatic, but it's also quite dark and smoky and leathery and woodsy and quite masculine, but also quite fresh. And I think when you combine the two together is really where the magic happens. I would say if your man likes this fragrance and you like this fragrance, you have the dream situation, because then you can buy both and you can wear them together, and then you are gonna like just be in heaven. Or you could get the bigger size version of this and get the smaller size version of this, and then you have a few more options. But I do think there's something about the two of them together which is just so interesting and special and just so fabulous. It's so fabulous. It's just this really dark, rich, woodsy, fig-based fragrance, which I love. I mean, I love fig fragrances anyway, and this is really special and really unique, and like no other fig-based fragrance, so I love, love, love it. This one alone is really good, but I think you have to be in the mood for it. I think it is a little bit more masculine, but I think a lot of women could wear it too, but you definitely would have to be in the mood for it. I would say you might want to combine it with something a little bit warmer, maybe something a little bit more floral. I think it would be quite nice with something like red roses, or maybe dark amber and ginger lily, just to kind of give it a little bit more kind of floral and warmth kind of notes. But it's still really beautiful. I just think you have to be in the mood for it. So this is the kind of one that I would be tempted to buy in the 50 ml bottle, whereas this one I would say 100% buy the 100 ml bottle, because you're gonna wear it a lot. But the two of them together are just, oh, they're just like a dream team. You know, you can also combine both fragrances with other fragrances from the collection. They would both be gorgeous with wood, sage and sea salt. They would both be beautiful with myrrh and tonka, but you can really have a play with them. There's also a tool on the website which will help you pick out the perfect fragrance combiners as well. So that is worth knowing and worth looking at. But yeah, I think they're both gorgeous fragrances. I do think Fig and Lotus Flower is just a little bit more easy to wear. I do also think it's a little bit more spring summer, so actually in the autumn winter you might want a fragrance combine it with something like Cypress and Grapevine or the myrrh and tonka, just to kind of make it a little bit richer and a bit more wintry. But I think this one is beautiful alone, but a little bit more of an acquired taste. But I definitely think it would be beautiful for fragrance combining with something a little bit warmer, and maybe something with a hint of florals too. Anyway, that's my video. I hope it's of help. I think they're both absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, if you were gonna blind buy one, I would definitely say the Fig and Lotus Flower. But if you are feeling a little bit flush and you want something really special that doesn't exist anywhere else, and you love kind of like a dark, mysterious fragrance, but you also love fig, this combined is absolutely stunning. Anyway, that's my video. How did I do? Anyway, that's my video. I hope it's of help. I hope I explained the collection properly. It is obviously inspired by the hanging gardens of, I don't know where they were. They were just in old times. There's more information on the website, so if you want to have a look, click the link below. And there's a beautiful video as well that they did. But I will say, if you have the sound on your computer and you hear some weird watery noises that you almost think, oh, is my computer breaking? Like, what's that noise? That is coming from the website. There is this kind of really nice aquatic kind of sound, which really took me by surprise. I thought my computer was breaking because I didn't know the sound was on, and suddenly all these like water sounds were coming out, and I was like, uh-oh, we've got issues here. But no, it was the aquatic sounds that came from the website. Anyway, that's my video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again very soon. Goodbye.